So you had traveled from Kansas City across the oceans to China and found this hot red pepper. And is there any epitomizing moment that you found? There's a story of the moth in Red Star, China.
Oh gosh, he allowed me tremendous amount of time to interview him. And I would write things down in English, and the translator would put in Chinese, and then Mao would read it over, and he would make corrections and give it back, and so it was quite a long process. One of these evenings, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and the candles were burning very low, and I was exhausted, and Mao's energy seemed to be unquenchable. It was very interesting, because Madame Mao had never heard much of his own biography, his autobiography. Once you became a communist, that was your rebirth. And so people rarely talked about what happened to them before they became communists. So she was as fascinated as I was about his history. We'll get to that later. And we had just finished. And as I say, there were just candles. And I was putting things away. And I heard both of them go, "Oh." And I looked up, and here they both were. Remember, everything was very low. We didn't really have chairs, we had benches and bricks. And they were both kneeling down, and on this little stone table was the most exquisite moth. Now, my own knowledge of North American Lepidoptera is not particularly profound, so I couldn't have told you what kind of moth it was. But it was beautiful sea green with a little bit of saffron and rose at the edges. And it was exhausted, and it lay down next to the candle, seeming about to die. And Mao picked it up, slipped it into a book, carefully closed it to preserve it. It was quite remarkable. It was a very delicately done gesture. And I was quite struck by this man who had led all these people through all these appalling adventures and was dealing with death and destruction on every side, and yet takes the time to preserve this exquisite insect.
Killing it to save it.